Okay, guys. We do have one little issue. See, now that our pressure gauge is nicely mounted up here, I've got to put that engine cover back on. Now, for some of you that aren't running engine covers or are using the car style intake, this isn't a big deal. But for me, using the 3-piece cover, I got to find a way to make this gauge fit under there. Notice what I mean. The top cover can go on. Oop, there we go. And fit into place with relative ease. Only a little bit of interference on this side. Set down in there. There we go, and you can see right there, it clears it, but a little clearancing wouldn't be a bad idea. When we use the right side cover, however, that's when we have an issue. Once I fit it down into place, there's interference here and there, so that you guys can see that. I'm actually going to take the top cover back off. Here you go, this might show a little bit better. Now once this is pulled up into place, we've got it on our mounting stud, and in the back, you can barely see the gauge under this tab in this corner. Now lightly, I've already put a little mark here and a little mark here, as well as on this. We're going to grab our hole saws, make a little bit of a modification, just kind of round this out, so that way right with the engine cover still on, we can read our fuel pressure gauge on startup and not have to worry as much during troubleshooting. So let's modify this bad boy. Alright guys, so here we are on the ground, and we have the engine cover here. A Sharpie to make our marks with, a little bit of 220 no-slip sandpaper for cleaning up the edge. I've also got a carpet knife to trim away any plastic, or an X-Acto blade, whatever you want to call it, as well as a regular power drill, and our cordless, and the hole saws to use. Now the reason we're doing the cordless just makes it easier. This is plastic and it'll cut pretty simply. If you're doing metal or stainless like I will when we do the next gauge panel update, I'm gonna have to use the nice drill. This drill was 10 bucks. I got it from a rummage sale, and frankly, it's done pretty much everything I need it to. You'll have to excuse the background noise as we are outside and I cannot control that. So, I've got my mark here where the tab needs to be trimmed, as well as the front side of where the gauge interfered, and a little mark where the center of it was. The gauge itself is 1.5 inches, so I've got 1 3/4 and 2 inch to choose from. I think I'm going to go with 2 inch just to make sure, but if there's any question, I can go back and hold this up next to the gauge to see exactly how much clearance we need. Looks like the 2 inch will fit over the bezel better and give us a perfect amount of clearance. And we're ready to trim. And there we are with our hole. We can go back with this and sandpaper and clean it up. Well, that's pretty good for now. We got a nice clean hole all the way around. It's smooth. If I had a fancy engine cover, I could repaint this, but I think I'm just going to hit it with a clean cloth and a little bit of solvent to clean it off, and throw it back on. So let's get this thing mounted up. There we go. How about that? What a great fit. You can see the gauge there clearly on top. The bracket fits all the way around it. This still comes and touches where it should to be supported in the back. Our stud bosses in the front is on. Our two on the side are already going, so I'm going to go ahead, grab our top cover. Okay, so clearly here, the other half of the gauge is now covered by this. Let's use the same technique we used with the hole saw on this side to clearance this gauge. There we go, pretty decent hole. Clean it up, throw it back on, see how we did. Check that out, engine covers on, side covers on, we got good clearance all the way around the top. I'm going to torque them down just to be sure, but you know what guys? I think we've got a pretty good solution going right there. The gauge is accessible. You can clean this up as much as you want to or paint the whole cover, that's up to you. But based on what I think we've got going on here, guys, how clean this turned out, I'm going to call her done and tighten this down and go for a drive. So this time, thank you guys for watching. As always, we'll see you next time on REVJ.
Sometimes I don't want to listen to what you say. Sometimes I just got to run away, run away. Sometimes I just got to listen to what you say. Sometimes I am down to. Sorry, man, not today, not today.